So, this pitch is on Season of the Witch. Not the one you're thinking of. No, I discussed, and I'll touched on it in my Halloween pitches, that I feel like Halloween 3 Season of the Witch should be remade and just released as this Season of the Witch, A Tale of Halloween or something, or Halloween Tales or something like that, because I feel like that film had some unique stuff in it, could be updated. I did a whole pitch on that. No, this is based on the 2011 Nick Cage film, because we all know how awesome Nick Cage is. I was in the mood for something, and I just ended up watching this. It's not a real long movie. The idea is great. If you're not familiar with the idea, go read a summary, check it out. But basically, you have Nick Cage and Ron Perlman as Knights of the Crusade who leave because they're tired of murdering innocent people in the name of God, and are discovered as deserters, but then recruited by the church to take this witch to this monastery where she'll be judged by a group of priests who hold a book with ancient relics and traditions that could save her or condemn her or whatever. And in the film, she turns out to be not a witch, but a demon. And they believe that she is possessed by a demon, I guess you could say. That she is the one causing the Black Plague. All right, that's the summary. First of all, this movie, it looks good. Most of it feels like it's shot on location. The cinematography for it's really good. The opening scene, I feel, is horrible, because they're trying to do a scare, but I feel like it just doesn't fall where it needs to fall. And there's a whole bunch of production problems with the film. Why it was pushed back and everything, and it took like 10 years to get to the screen or whatever before they made it. But let's talk about a reboot, because first of all, medieval stuff can be a lot of fun. A medieval horror can be fun because you have superstition running rampant. You do not have technology that somehow always makes things seem less than. But I would open the film with two knights in the Crusades. And that's your big section action piece. And then they leave and kind of do the same kind of thing, but we get to know them a little bit better. One thing that I would do is in a scene where they're in a tavern drinking, after the opening big battle scene before the scene where they leave, is I'd have somebody playing the flute who would play a few notes, enough bars that you recognize Season of the Witch by Donovan. And when they get recruited and they meet the girl who is the witch, I definitely think this is where the movie needs to play into its strengths of most psychological horror, where we as the audience are not sure if she really is a witch, if she is just misunderstood, like she's sick, or she's suffering from trauma for abuse. And these elements are sprinkled in the movie, but she starts getting in the heads of each one of the people that are escorting her. You know, and things happen in the woods, like the wolf attack in the film. Like, you have that, but you have other things that start happening. Birds, spiders, creatures of the night coming out and attacking them, and something that just feels off. I definitely would have a scene where our knights early in the film witness some people being tried for witchcraft and hung, and we get an idea of what their thoughts are on it. In one of their early villages where they're going through before they leave. The idea of messing with the audience where we're not sure if we're about to see the murder and destruction of a young girl who needs to be a teenager, but in her late teens, I don't know, like 17, 18. Or if we're actually seeing a witch, because a lot of times, anytime a woman was not what society said she should be, she was accused of witchcraft. The idea that this character, the girl, can, she's tapping into the different minds of each person. One is you have the monk, who is a pious, super godly man, super devout to where he can't even think straight. We have a knight, recently lost his child. You have our two main characters, which was Felsen, which was Ron Perlman, and Bayan, which was Nick Cage. Nick Cage, had murdered what caused him to desert a young woman. And I think just to turn it up a little bit, we have him murder that young woman who was holding her child, protecting the kid during a raid. So he feels even worse because he just made this child an orphan. And then you have the monk who's pledged his whole life, his entire existence to God, but finds the girl attractive, so she uses her feminine power to start to lure him in a sexual sense, because that's something that is unknown to him because of his devoutness as a monk. And you play the scenes to where we as the audience, like I said, once again, we don't know, but she's playing to her strength because she's trying to free herself in any way possible. She's just trying to be smart because she's scared for her life. In the film, she has rants about the monk touches her and all this. And if you do it right, we could see it as if the monk is trying to take sexual advantages of her, and she's playing the trauma to play the men against each other. Now, I would keep, they get to the place where they need to go. We have a young servant, altar boy, who's pledged himself to be a knight, who wants to serve, who was like in service of the cardinal who passed away, who sent them on their mission. Okay, his name is Kai. So we get to the monastery. Okay, so far we're following a lot of the same beats as the film. We're just tweaking the way it's presented because the way it was presented was very surface. We get there, all the monks are dead. Okay, the girl then starts... Oh, wait, back up one moment. Sorry. One thing I think that was missing was when they crossed the bridge, the carriage should have been damaged across this gullet. We needed a couple of extra people in our party to just be, killed off along the way. So there's more tragedy and horror as they're going through this. But they lose the cage that they had the girl in, so now she is free. And she's just being basically pulled by ropes. So now she's kind of free amongst them, and it makes them even more uncomfortable. And that tension is there. And so, she's trying different things to warm up to the different people of the group. So what happens is she gets there at the monastery and starts releasing some of her witch power. And they start fighting, and she, brings images to life and things. They have to see that they're fighting not only her, but in their own mind. And it starts to whittle out the characters. All right? Then she, ducks into a dark hole. Something happens, and it's revealed that she's actually demon. Awesome. Okay? Not CG, more practical, larger demonic figure. It starts taking out the knights. The priest is one of the last ones to go, but then of course it is Bian and Kai that are left. Felsen dies. That was the Ron Perlman character saving them. And Kai, being he was an altar boy trainer thing, he finishes the ritual, banishes the demon, protects the book that they were there to protect, because they learned the demon wanted to be there because the demon wanted that book to destroy it. The monks were copying the book, and we see the monks dead, bodies eaten by rats, other animals, dead with the plague. The demon's abolished, and now we meet Anna, the girl. All right, pretty similar to what we got, but here comes the Tyler twist. Kai and Anna are the only two left. Bean dies. Kai gets a horse and takes her to her home village. They get there, they're approaching the home. Her mother sees her, very excited. Her daughter is home. They bring Kai in to give him warmth, food, thank you for the quest. All is not right. Because she was a witch. She was the youngest member of the Covenant, and Kai walks into a room full of women with all the medieval witch-looking lore and elements, and they tie him up and basically prepare to sacrifice him, and they take the book. They can't destroy it because the book's protected, but basically you find out that Anna was chosen to be possessed by the demon willingly, and that she is a witch, and her coven basically turn on Kai and raise the demon to possess him and destroy the book. Because if the title is Season of the Witch, let's focus on that. Let's have a debate, between our characters. Earlier, the priest who's all like, witch, and then Bean, who is like against it because he hasn't really seen anything that proves this supernatural stuff, and who has such a grudge against people who do anything in the name of God. And then you have Kai, who's that middle character who represents the good that a true believer can be, who's not out to hurt anyone. He's kind of this innocent. And that's the twist, is, the innocence. And in fiction, sometimes it's fun to play with the bad guys winning. It's a nice little twist. It's unsettling. In reality, it sucks, but that's the beauty of fiction. And it kind of just ties back to Season of the Witch. And in this case, witches. But that is my pitch for Nick Cage's Season of the Witch.